RTE says, when do you think they will announce a recession? I know there has been one for a minute. They don't want to announce. I'm guessing probably next year. I don't think they will ever announce it. Not this administration. That's one thing you'll notice, that administration has no incentive to announce a recession under their own regime. Like, if anything, Trump will say, well, because of what Biden did in the last 4 years or so, this is why we have, the current economy, and this is why we're trying to undo all these different, energy deals and what have you. I don't think they will ever announce it. There's no incentive to. It's your job to know when you're in a recession. I personally don't participate in recessions. That's the point of wisdom, is to see trouble far off, to see something coming down the line and hide yourself, to prepare, to plan. That's the purpose of wisdom, is to not participate in the downfall of every. When everyone else is like, when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. No, I have wisdom. The point of wisdom is to know ahead of time that there's a tsunami and get to high ground. There's no, yeah. So, yeah, I don't think there will be a official announcement of recession. The numbers will show you. It's quite easy to notice one if you look at the data. I'm not saying go learn how to read candlesticks and charts and what have you. I don't even know how to do all that. But yeah, you can look at the top seven top seven companies in the S&P 500, and they will tell you just about everything you need to know. The S&P 500 will tell you just about everything you need to know about the U.S. economy. Yeah. And then, of course, you can just listen to alternative sources of information. Doomberg is one of my favorites when it comes to energy. When it comes to a lot of international trade, I listen to Doomberg. Just look for a green chicken. Michael Saylor, Jack Mahler's people I go to when it comes to Bitcoin, because they have public companies that are audited by outside agencies. They are Bitcoin companies. And so I go to the people who are actually building their platform. If you want to be safe from tragedy in North America, in the United States, if you want to be safe from tragedy when it comes to your assets, put your assets where the billionaires are putting their assets. Put your valuables where the billionaires and the millionaires are putting their valuables. Why? Because they're not going to let themselves go under. Money is addictive. Success is addictive. This is why people take drugs, to be more successful and more successful, because it's addictive. People don't want to stop being rich and successful and seeing other people suffer, other people's families starve, other people's kids go to public school, other people's kids get student loans. I'm like, I don't want that for my children. I don't want my family suffering on any level. So I don't try to outdo the rich people. I just look what they're doing. I'm like, their actions are going to tell you everything you need to know. I'm like, why is Michael Saylor's almost his entire net worth is in Bitcoin? You think he wants to lose his money? Or does he know something that everyone else doesn't know? That's why the first movers get the best rewards, because they typically know something that everyone else is kind of slow to. Bitcoin came out in 2009. I didn't buy Bitcoin probably until 2024, January. I was late. So, of course, there's an incentive to be early, to be searching the landscape for, like, what do they know that I don't know? What do other people know? What are the nerds, the coders? What do they know that I don't know? Why were they reading white papers when I was watching NBA games? I was being entertained. They were reading white papers. They were reading forums. Why was I late to the party? Because wisdom. So yeah, there will be no announcement about recessions and, oh yeah, CPI. We're trying to look at the data. It's going to be data intensive. We might cut rates 25 basis points in September. Jerome Powell. The constant talk about what's the Fed going to do? The Fed advisory, the Fed policy. Are they going to cut rates by 25 basis points? It's just nonstop. Treasuries, bonds. People are buying these things expecting to retain value with their U.S. dollars. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. The United States is in trillions of dollars of debt. Trillions of dollars of debt. And people are buying, like, people are holding their life savings in US treasuries. That's your choice. Ignorance is not an excuse. It's not a valid excuse. There's too much information. We have AI. There's no excuse. You can ask AI a simple question: how do I fend off against recession, against monetary inflation? How do I keep my time and energy from being devalued in the United States? And they're going to give you a list. And most likely, number one on the top of that list is going to be you need to own assets, namely scarce, desirable assets, things that go up in value no matter what's going on. The 2008 recession, imagine if Bitcoin existed. Oh, well, the next year, Bitcoin came out. Why would that happen? The correlations are uncanny. The evidence is everywhere. The evidence is everywhere. And if people could spend just enough time, I'm not saying all your time has to be just study and regimented and wisdom and like, I need more knowledge. You go insane doing that. But if you take a fraction of your time and just say, I need to study this for an hour a day. Bitcoin, I'm gonna figure out what proof of work cryptography is and how it works. You don't have to understand binary and all the ins and outs and all the code and protocols, all those things. But you need to at least understand what proof of work cryptography is versus proof of stake. Mix of experts. It's just so many different things. And they're all in plain sight. They've all been around for several years at this point. Ethereum is like 10 years old. Yeah, I mean, this stuff has always been a thing. It's just people don't know about it. Just think about the average person in O Block, in Chicago, in the inner cities. You think these people understand anything about Bitcoin? No, they shoot in the ops. They're flexing fiat currency as if that's impressive. They're buying jewelry that is customized, meaning they can't resell it, which means it's going down in value. You can't resell it. It doesn't retain its value. They're buying Aston Martins that depreciate the second you drive them off the lot. They're customizing them, which means the resale value is dropping off a cliff. And by no means am I a perfect, steward of my money. No, I'm learning. And once you learn, now you're held accountable, and now you understand. For every $7 Little Caesars pizza I buy, I could have had $1.20 of eggs and cheese and sausage or bacon. I could have cooked my own meal, and it would have cost $2 max. Or I could spend $7, and that $5 that I could have invested, there's a price to pay for that. So if anything, now you just know every time I spend money on something that is not an asset, it's most likely a liability, which means I'm losing. I'm losing. Every time I buy something that doesn't appreciate in value, I'm losing money. My children are losing money. My estate is losing money. My potential is lessening. It's a choice you got to make. And trust me, I love Little Caesars. It's worth it to me. It's worth it, at least for now.